What saddens me the most about what's happening right now is that I see people who like each other, care about each other, suddenly get angry, unfriend one another just because they have a different opinion about what is going on and what needs to be done. Separation. Can't we see that in the end we all fear and all want the same thing? Stick with me. Most of us fear death equally as we fear life. But we attach to life and to surviving because the thought of dying scares us even more. That becomes the uncontrolled enemy that needs to be controlled. And so far, humanity and science managed to control a lot, but still this does not take away our fear and the need to control everything. That is not the opposite of life, it's part of it, Japanese writer Murakami wrote. He probably was inspired by spiritual leader Osho, who once said that if death is the enemy, life is also the enemy, because life leads to death. But we fear death because of unlived lives, the things we did not do before our life ends. So basically, in our hearts we all want to embrace and fully live our lives, which is freedom. But deep down, many of us are afraid of what would happen when we do. Am I? We all share our longing to live, reasons to be alive, to go on and to get through this. Even when there are days that some of us feel and believe we can't take no more. Days like that are more familiar to me lately, but I know how beautiful life can be when I feel the fear and live life anyway, or don't fear at all. And we got another thing in common: grief, exposed as anger. Anger hides the frustration, pain, and the collective grief we feel inside about things going on. The deep knowledge that we are trying to preserve something that is already gone. It's all just too much to bear, so we get angry at our governments, at the police, protesters, doctors, or even our neighbors or best friends. I don't say or think we are angry for the wrong reasons. It comes in many forms. But we get angry because we suffer. You, me, the policeman, the politician, the doctor, the protester, even the ones who look away, we all suffer. Our collective suffering is what bounds us. Well, maybe this does not resonate with you at all, because you think it's psychological bullshit or spiritual blah blah blah. Or maybe you're already living in that heavenly place called 5D and only feel excitement and bliss. Well, that's okay. Give me just 2 more minutes, because I do think that there is something that connects all of us in this crazy time. 2 basic human needs: to feel safe and to be loved. To be love. We fear love because it's the only energetic force in the universe we can't control, but at the same time we live and die for love. Albert Einstein. We have tried to control everything in this world, in every aspect of our lives, but it did not work for love. We can't force or stop love. and it's the only force that lives on when death separates us physically. So let's not forget what great force we have in common. Let's admit that from the day we were born until the day we die, all that we long for collectively is to feel safe and to be loved. Let us remind what connects us, not what divides us. Let's try that and let nothing come in between. When I feel or see frustration, anger, or so much rage that it makes me want to scream or explode, I recognize this as suffering, which doesn't make it bearable all the time, but it does bring compassion. When I lose hope, trust, and belief, and just want to die in this very moment, I cry lonely tears until I remind myself that we all live under the same stars. Even when you hurt me, shout at me, unfriend me on Facebook, or would hate my guts, my personal grief is connected with your grief. It's one big pile of collective grief. We just need to try to open our hearts to one another, despite the fear. It ain't easy, and just like me, you might have all the reasons in the world not to. But I know it's possible. Open our hearts and let fear go right through it so we can feel what we long for. Which to me is, I want to feel safe. I want to be loved, just like every living soul on this planet. Don't you? And then ask ourselves again, what would love do? Namaste.